BTMreview.com here with the Walking Dead podcast, and I'm going to go out and say this is a very special edition of the Walking Dead podcast. Just because, not really. I don't think it's special. AMC's telling us it should be a special one because we had an hour and a half, 90 minutes dedicated to Morgan with commercials. Before we actually start talking about the episode, which was called Here Not Here, right?
Here's not
pretty much
Here-
my mindset while I was watching this.
Here's Not Here. I want to address some comments we got on the last podcast. And I mean, it's to be expected, and it's kind of what we're used to with like the iTunes and all that stuff. And it used to be the iTunes was the one that we were getting the most comments on. You know, it seems like people were really vocal on iTunes, but you know, a lot of the people there are actually seeking out podcasts. Unlike YouTube, where they'll just kind of stumble across something, or you know, there's like that occasional dumb shit that thinks we posted the entire episode. You know, as if we can get away with that, and as if it didn't say that, hey, this is a podcast, like right there in front of your face, and as if to say the podcast was never like the running time of the TV show, and they're just always outraged. But no, it's pretty divided. And on this particular last one, ever since this season started, you know, we've been kind of up in the air. It's not that the episodes are bad. Like we didn't even give the last couple episodes like horrible reviews or anything. We were just critical about the overall direction. And on this last one in particular, we had it pretty across the map. We had quite a few people that hate us and quite a few people that were coming to our defense. But I don't know if we want to get into that stuff in detail.
They're a bunch of Glenn lovers. That's what it sounds like.
Here's my big beef. I mean, we had someone like Rockula comment, and he comments every episode. God bless him. But and then we had some new faces pop up as we usually do. The thing is I don't know. These are just different types of fans, you know. It's like we have people on here talking about, oh, don't cover something you guys hate. Simple as that. What most people don't get is, I have a feeling a lot of these people haven't listened to every single episode or anything like that. So they stumble across a podcast. They find an episode.
Would ask you to.
Well, we stumble across they stumble across a podcast, and they come across like an episode where we're talking mad shit, and they think that's our like motif all the time, and that's not the case. We've been doing this for a very long time, and if they went through the whole chronological order of this podcast, they would see it deteriorating. You know, I've always given it credit where it's due, and you know, I said it in some of these people in these comments. I'm like, I can't speak for Riverman, but me, I always give it credit.
Go back to season 2, and then I might be saying some good things.
Exactly. I mean, but there's always good parts. Like last season. Last season had some of the best episodes the series ever had, but also had some of the worst. We had like Daryl and Beth getting drunk in the barn, which was goose eggs. And we had
Church
that damn.
Was the best, dude.
Well, hold on. We also had
the trees not falling on that goddamn house or whatever.
Tornado.
Yeah.
And then we had the one where it was just focusing on all those assholes in the school bus, and then the whole episode was just dragged out, and it led up to that one moment at the end where Eugene revealed he wasn't a scientist. I'm like, we could have summed this up in 2 minutes. Like we had to watch a whole dragged out episode because of this. But at the same time, we had the episode of Rick biting out that guy's jugular. You know, Carl almost getting raped. I mean, we had the Terminus when they were all going to get decapitated, which is pretty cool. We had. We had the church where they just slaughtered everybody. To me, those are some of the best episodes the series has ever had. So it's really either horribly terrible or it's fucking amazingly good. It's like it's you too, man.
And then we have episodes like this.
Well, now
where do you even put something like this? Because it does have a context in explaining to us a big chunk of the story that we have missed. But at the same time, it just seems so out of place because we're on the 6th season.
This is Daryl and Beth all over again.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far either. And I think, it does. I mean, because a lot of people are sitting here saying, you know, what happened to Morgan the last time we saw him? He was batshit crazy. And now he's goddamn Kane from Kung Fu. And we learned that we met the cheesemaker this episode.
Which, by the way, is
Steve
Carey.
Yeah.
Steve Carey, Drew Carey's cross-dressing brother from the Drew Carey show.
That guy's a great actor. John Carroll Lynch. He does a lot of
He's awesome.
great stuff.
And he was also the clown in Freak Show.
Yeah, The Last American Horror Story, yeah.
Yeah, and he was also the prime suspect in Zodiac, that movie. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's been in tons of stuff. He's always great, but I'll never forget him as Steve Carey, that big oaf dressed up in drag. It's the most ridiculous looking crosser. Hi, Dad. Oh.
That was a great show.
But he's great. Yeah. I just don't know. You're right. Though.
I can't put it in the same area. I can't put it in the same area as Daryl and Beth sitting around because that literally did nothing. Nothing. This I think is just a victim of the fact that the writing still remains. It's a binge watch show, not an episode to episode show.
Yeah, but an hour and a half of this crap.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. An hour and a half is a little bit long, but again, in the context of a binge day where you'd sit there and watch 5-6 hours of episodes of Walking Dead, it fits perfectly right into it. So I'm kind of torn on it because there was a point where I'm just like, oh my god, enough of it already. When he was the about 9th time that Morgan was screaming at him to kill him.
Yeah, especially at the point where he kind of relapsed again when he went back to his home. I'm like, why are we relapsing here? It's just it seemed like it was jumping all over the place, and we didn't need to do that. It's like just keep it going. But you guys, I mean, you taking the words right out of my mouth. The thing is Todd, I'm not going to hate it right away just because people would have been bitching about, and us too. We would have been like, well, fuck, they're just not going to explain where Morgan was all this time. We would have bitched about it too. You know it, River. So
did I bitch about it?
No, I'm saying you fucking were making shit talking comments about it from the beginning. I know you were going there. You were going there.
Wait, like I actually care about his backstory at this point?
But the thing is, that would have been something we would have bitched about if they just never addressed.
4 seasons ago, I was wondering about it. And to this day, I don't give a shit.
But ever since he popped up with that season, ever since he popped up.
So had they explained it to you 2 seasons ago, would you still give a shit?
No, 4 seasons, because I was curious to look at the second season after, Rick talked to him and everything. But after that, nah.
I'm just saying, after he popped up briefly in season 3 and they ditched him, and then he pops up again totally fine and at peace and zen with the world, if they never address what the fuck happened there, like Pat said, we would have called that a demerit. We totally would have. So I'm not dogging him for that.
So many demerits.
Yeah, we can't really talk out of both sides of our mouth with this, and that's why I'll take the stance of again, as far as it goes in giving me what I routinely ask for from this show, and that is a little more character development. But again, in the context of where they're placing it in the 6th frickin' season. And the way it goes about, and the fact that at the end we get a small little plot thing with what's currently going on. I don't know really how to operate on this one.
No, it's the fact that this is the Morgan season. The last season was the Carol season. The prior to that was the Norman Reedus season. It's like they try to put all these characters up in the front and they never do anything with them.
So far, I mean, yeah, I won't disagree with that. There was the Daryl season there. Or it's almost like half seasons or just like small story arcs where it just 3-4 episodes at a time where it just seems really prevalent. I mean, we were talking to Tyrese there. It almost like it is part of the symbol. I think part of a good signal to show that somebody's gonna die too, because usually there'll be a prevalent storyline in an episode or 2 before it actually happens. But,
which I totally wouldn't understand the point of Morgan coming back for half a second and then to get killed.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's just, I don't. Are we really going to have the Morgan season now that it's kind of like, okay, he's back. We have to do something with him.
I don't know.
Or do they sort of run the risk of having dickheads like us sit there and bitch about why they're not using Morgan if they go the route of, say, Daryl or somebody like that?
I just think when it comes to an episode like this, they've already shown us in the past that they know how to they'll chop it up. They'll show us a million different scenarios going on at one time, which if done wrong will confuse the shit out of you. But they could have totally taken this Morgan story. We've had this problem before and spliced it with a present day scenario. They could have progressed the present day scenario, whether that be with Morgan, and him fucking narrating it and looking at the camera and talking to that wolf at the end doesn't count. That's not enough.
Especially with an hour and a half running time, we definitely could have gotten this whole storyline in flashbacks and trimmed about at least a half hour of nonsense off this episode. I won't argue with you on that, but it's just. You take what you can get, I guess, in some aspects.
it needed to be addressed, but I mean, it didn't have to be an hour. I mean, I could think of a million other little arcs that they sped up. They sped through way too fast that I would have rather had 90 minutes for.
Well, and good news. I don't know if you've watched the Coming Up trailer, but no. we're gonna get a whole lot of Coral.
A whole lot of Coral.
That's what it's looking like. Saw at least they showed at least like 4 or 5 scenes in the trailer with Coral.
Which one's Coral?
Carl, dude.
Oh, Carl.
We went over this shit
thought you
last week.
Riverman was a little drunk last weekend. So.
Goodness gracious! But as far as the episode, I mean, like that's really my biggest complaint is just that it was too long. It was necessary. It was cool enough.
How was it necessary? That's what I don't understand.
They
like,
needed
you really
to
care
explain.
about Eastman and how he learns his kung fu.
Look! No, they needed to explain where he was.
Yeah,
they needed to explain that.
And since they made him Zen-like, I mean, they can't very well go about having Morgan show up in season 6 and still be batshit crazy if he's going to have an actual moving story.
And I understand that, but an hour and a half, just like you were saying, having a cutaways is probably.
But we've already established 2 minutes ago that was a problem. But we're saying, other than that, it was way too long. There was points in it where I was like, all right, I was starting to doze off a little bit because it kind of kept going on that same slow kind of pace. But whatever. Other than that, we kind of needed it. We needed to know what happened to him. And you know what? The Eastman character, whatever, he was great. That actor's good. He kind of kept my attention a little bit because I like him as an actor. I don't know. It was just too long.
So what's going to happen with the wolf in the basement then?
I don't know, because wasn't he turning around to walk away when he should have cracked him in the skull when he said he was still going to kill everybody?
Hey, he left him sitting there supposedly to die. Lord only knows. I mean, they don't just... Either two scenarios are going to play out where he wasn't bitten and he's going to get out of his restraints and attack somebody who happens down into that basement, or he's a walker by the time the next person finds him and they attack somebody. So chances are that's probably going to be where a titular character dies here later in the season. Or some other B-list player that we've kind of sort of met so far this new season.
I have two things to bring up about him telling the story to the wolf.
Deanna's other son. Boom.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, he should have. Two things to bring up about him talking to this wolf this whole time. A, did he really have 90 minutes to spare while all that shit was going on to sit there and tell a story? Because wasn't all this shit going on?
No, I think in the context of everything that's going on, it's afterwards.
After?
Yeah.
And B, I don't know about you, but are we supposed to believe this guy was sitting there for 90 minutes, not saying a peep, just listening to him like it's fucking story time? Like, hold on a second, go back.
He said he said when they were sitting around the campfire, he said he liked to talk. So maybe they're chopping it up a little bit, having a good time. But it doesn't really matter because he's still gonna have to kill him and everybody in the whole city.
And I actually kind of like that little exchange they had there. The whole thing of, hey, that's my code. You got your code?
Yeah.
I thought that was really well written.
Hopefully they kill him first.
Because it's true. So. And right now Morgan's code's not the same as Rick's code or Carol's code. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard for his code to work in a zombie apocalypse.
I don't think. Well, okay, I know. So we know whose team you'd be on in this case. But I'm just saying.
Todd with the political undertones again.
Damn it, Pat! Every episode.
God, Andy's racist too because it's Morgan. Jesus.
Oh no, I like Tyrese.
Todd.
Yeah, right. But no, but I mean, some of the stuff you got to let slide too. I'm also thinking the whole time like these WTF moments of, for someone to be this good at Aikido, you'd think it would take years. Not for these guys. Not for Steve Carey.
It'd take about a week.
Clearly, to them.
Those mixed martial artist guys, they train for a few weeks and then get in there and do that.
And I take it back. I guess the reason why he had to relapse was so Steve Carey could get fucking bit.
Right. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for getting me bit, you dickhead.
And I don't think he necessarily handled that right. Hey, I'm going to go and pull you away from the zombie, but first I'm going to jump in front of you and turn my back to the zombie and push you away. I'm not going to take you and pull you back from your shirt. So, I don't know.
He deserved it.
All kinds. I like this character. I like the whole little backstory about him and the.
And I think he's a good actor, but I just felt like he was out of place. I don't know why.
No, I think the episode was it's the episode. I mean.
Yeah, the whole episode is out of place. We should have had this probably when we started seeing him last season, and which was at the very beginning of the season when they left Terminus. Mm-hmm. So we're 15, 16 episodes too late with this.
So we backtracked to Tad.
Tad Lloyd, we drove a quarter of the way in the wrong direction. But So yeah, but other than those little things, I mean, like I said, I just think it was overlong. I think it could have been placed a little bit better. Like you said, it could have been placed at the end of the last season, and I don't think it would have had an effect too much on him going at it with Rick, him being Mr. Peace. I don't think it would have ruined that whole thing too much because
Well, the way it was written, we're kind of introduced to Morgan before we kind of get a feel for how his personality is, and they have spent the past couple episodes now introducing really how he is with this non-fatal style of going about the world, really not killing people or even really kind of taking almost a compassionate view towards the zombies, that they still are people, and again, that all life truly is precious. So
who's drying clothes?
Yeah. Hello?
Did we lose him?
no, that's the garage. I was trying to mute the microphone, you dickheads, but I didn't want to think that I hung up on you.
That's all right. We can cut through this little part. We're just
No,
That's
it's
all right.
fine. We're good.
It's good witty banter. You get to see the people behind the characters.
well, people hate the people hate the characters. They hate us. But no, so basically, that garage door fucked me up. Fucked up my where I was going.
We're still talking about the context of the placement of the actual storyline within basically the higher arc of the entire Walking Dead universe, and why we're getting this right now as opposed to when we should have gotten it, which is a season ago.
Well, the thing that I think is this show doesn't know. They don't know suspense. They don't know They don't know how to keep an audience on the edge of their seat because, so we had this Glenn episode, which I'll say they did right. I think it was bullshit how they didn't kill him because he's not dead. But the way they ended it was cool. It gets people talking and it makes you look forward to it.
Same with Rick at the end of it.
Well, waiting a week is enough. Is enough bait. It's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them wanting more. Don't make them wait a week and then give us this fucking episode where it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. Not that the episode was bad or anything, but they do this all the time and I hate it. They don't understand the point of a cliffhanger. Don't leave us hanging for multiple weeks because then you don't give a shit anymore. That's
I understand how you can think this episode's good. I mean, it's.
I didn't say it was good, bad
okay.
necessarily.
Okay.
I think it was okay.
I'm completely indifferent towards it because, again, I understand the necessity of it in the overall context of the storytelling, especially when Morgan's going to be a major character, obviously. So we need to know where he's been. Mm-hmm. But also in saying that it's too long, and its placement in the whole bigger picture of it, just it's lost on me. And like you said, you kind of you lose interest in the storyline of the current season.
It's a filler.
It's a necessary filler, if that makes sense. I get it.
It's. I'll keep saying it, and I'll beat it into the ground like a dead horse for the run of this entire podcast. It's gonna be the show is meant for binge watching, not for week to week watching.
And I've always said that too.
Despite what Chris Hardwick says.
What do you say about it?
It's amazing.
Oh, God.
So and bringing up Chris Hardwick and stuff like that, I just want to address some people's commentary on it again. This isn't a podcast. It's not a recap show, and people will always watch The Talking Dead. Go watch The Talking Dead. If you don't like our opinions, it's going to fluctuate. It's going to change for each episode. I'm not going to candy coat. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to sit there and we're not going to watch it and then all kind of get together and say, you know what, we have things to say about this episode, so if we don't have anything nice to say, we're not going to say anything at all. We're only going to cover the episodes that we absolutely want to jerk off. If that was the case, I think there would only be 1 or 2 episodes of this podcast. I mean, that are perfect, that are really, really without any flaw. Right. And just because something is flawed doesn't mean I don't like it. The thing is when you're going to review something, it's important. No matter how much you like it, you got to try and find.
You got to nitpick.
You have to have to critique it because you have to
be as objective as possible.
You have to have a standard because we can't just say, hey, well, this is perfect. This is perfect. If this is perfect and that is perfect, then why isn't everything perfect? I mean, you run the risk of looking like a fanboy, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But I'm saying watch The Talking Dead if you just want a jerk off recap show. There's nothing wrong with that either. I'm just saying that we're reviewing it, and people that are saying, "Oh, fuck review," because there's bad comments on there. I'm like, well, we talk about the good and the bad, and we always give our ratings at the end. I think that's pretty much what a review is.
Fuck Chris Hardwick.
And chances are, if you disagree with us, you're wrong anyway. So shut up, nerds.
We don't give a shit what you guys think.
And I do want to talk about some of the comments that get brought up about what was it last week and even this week too. We need people that actually pay attention and can pick up on the little subtle things of the show, and to do the podcast. When we have these slow-paced episodes like this, I do find myself asking why and picking apart little things on the show when it's not moving a mile a minute and cutting back and forth. And I will say, I couldn't help but think, okay, so Morgan, he clearly wasn't letting him out of that cell from the moment he put him in there, and I didn't see a toilet in there. Where was he taking his shits? Because he was feeding him. He was feeding him breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but he wasn't letting him out of there because he was still a rabid dog at that point.
Yeah. You people say we don't think about the details. That's bigger picture shit right there for you.
Bigger picture.
Maybe the goat was licking his ass.
Yeah.
Now I guess
story continuity that everybody on that production crew completely missed. Where is the pot that the guy's gonna shit in?
I guess
Right.
Steve Carey.
And Aaron calling it out.
Steve Carey could be sliding a bedpan under that little food slot and taking it and dumping it for him, maybe. I guess.
Well, for that
I'll
guy
let him
that he
slide.
starved to death for 47 years, 47 days, he probably had to take a dump or two just in the meantime in between those 47 days. So.
I'm sure he was eating his own shit if he didn't get any food.
Oh man, I mean, again, his character. I mean, the character was pretty cool, and you find out he's just a fucking low down, cold blooded motherfucker too at the end. But I thought it was kind of interesting how they kind of connected it back to the beginning, and then obviously you kind of figured that okay, now that he's dead, Morgan's out on his own. Sooner or later they'll connect it to Terminus. So, and they did.
I wonder if at any point he feels bad about getting him killed, because he kind of did. I didn't really see that remorseful part of him.
Well, I'm sure that'll be probably about episode 10. We'll have a whole episode of Morgan being retrospective with monologues of it going through. Yeah.
I think he'll turn away from Aikido and just fucking go crazy again. I'm hoping.
Aikido?
His clear will come back. I got a clear.
I don't
What the
know.
fuck he says.
That's a weird purpose, but I got a fucking clean house. It's like Danny Tanner in the zombie apocalypse. I just got to clean everything. I got to get it. I don't know. I don't really understand that whole thing. I got to clear. I just got to kill everybody and everything. All right.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I don't know. But to kind of round it out with this episode and just sort of the way we come at it with our opinions is, fuck, I'm losing my thoughts here, man.
Basically, we don't like you and you're wrong, and we don't care what you think.
We're gonna keep doing the podcast until.
Well,
Yeah.
not to mention, I'm one of those guys, and I'm pretty sure you guys are too. When you got people telling you not to do something, I'm a lot more inclined to do it. And the thing is yeah, like we've already said it last week, and I think we've been discussing it. If this episode gives us another, Daryl and Beth getting drunk in the barn episode, or something that we all legitimately agree this gets zeros, it has no redeemable qualities, we will hang it up.
No, and if I don't give it a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 once this season, then they can whoever can jump on board.
I think that's
Kevin or Tom or whoever the fucker.
I think that stipulation has changed literally every episode of the podcast.
But gosh, as far as ratings go, we've pretty much talked about the entire context of this episode. I mean, like I said, there wasn't that much, but it was essential. It was just over a long course of time. I don't think we really missed anything. I mean, like I said, it automatically gets at least a 6 because it was necessary. And I don't know. I kind of want to give it a 7 because I didn't hate it. It was just too long. It's 6 or 7. I don't know. Depending on what
Aaron's ratings are arbitrary, so
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. You guys give it ratings first, and I'll see where I'm teetering on that 6 or 7.
All right.
It was necessary, and it wasn't bad. And I liked the exchange between the two characters. I did. It was a lot better than the fucking Beth and Daryl thing, where that was absolutely stupid. This had a little bit more substance than that. I mean, Todd, you got to give it a little bit more credit than that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are your guys' ratings? Todd, you can go first. You can set the bar for us here.
Well, actually, I'm going to give it a little higher just because I was watching the World Series at the same time and the Royals won. So
Cold day in hell.
I will give it a 4 because I was flipping back and forth and I was in a good mood. So
Hey, be serious. Be serious.
I am serious. I would give it a 4.
You would give it a 4. Why are you going to give it a 4?
I mean, it's because, like you were saying, it's a filler episode. There are things we need.
I didn't say that. You fucking said that.
Well, there are things we needed to know about Morgan. How he learned his Aikido and all that other bullshit. But just the fact that it was an hour and a half. I mean, I really don't care about Eastman Like, I mean, you guys, I mean, like you said, he's a good actor. Don't get me wrong. I thought he was out of place in the episode. I don't see him fitting
The
in a zombie.
episode's out of place, not the character.
Even the character, fitting in a zombie apocalypse. I don't see him surviving that long. Some, fucking what is he, a psychologist living in the woods alone? I mean, knowing Aikido, I mean, eventually I think he's gonna run out of food.
From a strip mall Aikido joint that left a fucking flyer in his front door.
But like I said,
That was goddamn Donatello.
it wasn't horrible because I give other episodes a 2 and a whatever 3s, but I would give it a solid 4. I mean, like you were saying, it's too long. I'm glad it's done with. Hopefully, we don't have to learn anything more about Morgan, and let's move on.
Okay, Pat. Even though it's pretty cool to watch him shove a fucking bow staff in that guy's throat.
No, it's too.
We don't get a lot of brutal man on man murder.
Two homos in a cabin. Like, I really give a fuck about that.
For anybody out there that might have commented that might lean towards the cock, I'm sorry for Todd's remarks. Pat.
I'm not racist towards gay people, first and foremost.
I'm not either.
Sorry, Todd. You've outed yourself here.
Whatever. I'm going to go back to my scale from last week, and in the if it was a TV show that I actually, again, didn't wish the better for, I shouldn't say don't enjoy, wasn't constantly making me pull my hair out because it would be better for it would be a shoulder shrug and a okay, I don't care. But in actuality, since I have to rate it, I'll give it a 5 because it's serviceable and it is necessary. So there it is.
Aaron, you gonna change your score?
No, I was teetering on the 6 or 7, and I'll stick to that. And I'll go ahead and I'll give it a 6, just because.
See, you teetered. You teetered until we gave our predictions.
I wanted to. I wanted to wait it out. Shut up, Todd.
Yeah,
for fuck's sake.
You always do that.
Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck, man? The thing is it doesn't change what I've said since the beginning. It's kind of more like what Pat says. I think you're just a fucking hater. But
no, you just gotta give it a hard. You gotta give it a hard score. Give it a hard.
Yeah, I gotta give it a hard, and I'm giving it my hard score. I don't know. Well, the reason why I teeter and I couldn't decide right away is because I know I was given the last couple 7s and 8s, and I was trying to think of how we rated those because I always feel like an asshole. I can't think about in the broad spectrum of the way we've rated every show for all these years. But I always think about relative to the last few, and I think we were given 8s or 7s or something to the last couple, and they were substantially better than this one. So that's why I teeter mainly. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 6 just because it was necessary. It was just too long, and I didn't not like Steve Carey. I didn't think he was out of place. I think the episode was a little out of place in this particular spot on the season. But, I mean, I liked the acting. I liked the characters. It was fine. It was just too long. That's really the only qualm I got on it. That's it.
That's cool.
So whatever.
Yeah.
Now, what's next week going to be about? Because I didn't watch it. You said it's going to be just about Coral?
No, it looked like the aftermath of what's happening since basically the Wolves attack, and it featured a lot of Coral and a lot of Rick's soon-to-be new girlfriend.
Ugh.
No. Hey, I like her. I don't mind her, Todd.
Yeah, she's decent looking, I guess.
I wasn't going for the look thing. I was talking about the fucking character. I don't mind her character.
She's not as good looking as Maggie, though.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, as like we called it, Maggie's going out looking for Glenn. It would appear.
Really?
Yeah.
And I do have to mention. Speaking of Glenn, though, I want to, as much as he's kind of breaking all our balls here. This Rockula, he did make a good point. Glenn still had a walkie-talkie on him, so that's probably how he's going to get out. He'll probably I never mentioned. I completely forgot all about that, and I actually thought of that a week ago, or not a week ago, but like about last Wednesday. I'm like, oh yeah, he had a walkie-talkie still because he was in correspondence with Rick. There's something there is going to save his butt. So
can I ask Rockula a question? Is he a rocking vampire? Is that what the name is, or exactly what?
I don't know. He is a drummer. He is a drummer.
Okay,
but I don't know about a vampire.
All right. Is he like Lestat in what was that Queen of the Damned?
Rockstar.
Queen of the Damned.
No, he's a drummer that likes horror movies, I guess. So Rockula.
I'm stunned.
Anyway, with that in mind, keep posting, keep listening, and keep commenting. People that hate it, people that critique us. I don't want to say no. I bring it on. I like it. I like reading that stuff.
And you're wrong. So shut up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically all our scores together. It's another kind of middle of the road episode.
Your head has the shell on it.
Shut up, Richard. So middle of the road episode. Hopefully, like I said, they get back to the main arc here, and it's actually progressed past that 4 episode scenario that we got there. And I don't know. Hopefully, they wrap up this Glenn thing real quick. That's the only thing I want. I don't want a couple episodes of the whole looking for him thing. They need.
We're going till the mid-season split with that, guaranteed.
I guarantee.
Yeah, just like we looked for Beth last season.
This will be my final comment because this is what I wanted to say earlier. So. And this has to do with the comments, in particular was that Rocky, his comment. It's not that when we were critiquing the episode, he made a comment of saying something like, I watched The Walking Dead to suspend, belief and just kind of lose myself in fantasy. I'm not going to critique it for misplacings and whatnot. But that, like I said, that's just that kind of viewer, and we're trying to review the show. Now, I understand where they're coming from. It's not. I don't want to dog the writers because we all know they're just a slave to the showrunner. Now, if I was working for The Walking Dead as a writer, it would be a love-hate thing because A, I'd be making a fat paycheck and I could not do it. But B, I would feel like shit knowing I was writing a filler episode just to drag a plot line out so we can keep the season going because my boss told me to. So I'm not mad at the writers. I know it's just the overall direction of Scott Gimple or whoever it is. And the thing is this is the industry for you. They're looking to make money. So Scott Gimple, these people, it's not about integrity. They're going to do everything they can to stretch the show out. They're not even going to see cancellation in sight until the ratings start to dip a little bit. Then when it starts to dip, they're going to carry it on another season or two till it's absolutely bone dry and they've jumped the shark on every possible plot line. That's just what every show does. And you would think, it's like, why do we watch shows like Roseanne and all these shows where they fucking just turn into dog shit in the last season or two? Because they're gonna milk it. They don't give a shit if it ends on a good note. They can't all be Breaking Bad. Like Breaking Bad's like.
So Rick's gonna win the lottery?
Rick's gonna win the lottery, and it was all a dream.
Carl's gonna die. He's gonna die of a heart attack.
John Goodman will die.
If it's all a dream of Rick in a coma, so help me God, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it's not gonna be good for anybody.
Rick's gonna write a book and
wasted years of my goddamn life watching this stupid fucking show, and it was all a dream.
It's going to be a dream. You know it's going to be.
Oh no!
They can't end the thing.
Then how is Rick dreaming Fear the Walking Dead? He's got one. How is he dreaming a scenario that doesn't even relate to him?
There's probably somebody else in LA dreaming Fear the Walking Dead.
The guy from 28 Days Later.
So the only reason I bring up what I was bringing up is because it was brought up in that critique of that comment that like, oh, you guys are being harsh on it because they're going to do everything. AMC's going to do everything they can to stretch out the season as if it's justified. And I get that. I wasn't arguing with that. Their main thing in this is money because that's the industry. Scott,
and we don't have to be okay with that.
No. Because it's sacrificing artistic integrity for money, and that's everything does that. So it's to be expected. They can't all be the Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, perfect example. 5 seasons, bam, done.
Well,
they never let it. Yeah. It never went to shit. And Seinfeld too. Seinfeld went out on top. There's only a couple of things there that I can say omit that, but most shows do. They always wait till the ratings slip and they run out of ideas and they run it to the ground a couple more seasons just to get their cash grab and they fucking cancel it.
Look at MASH. That went out on top.
MASH?
Thing lasted for 20 years.
Oh, well, only not MASH.
Gunsmoke? Shit.
Yeah, I know.
MASH.
What was it? F Troop that went on for like 50 years.
F Troop was fucking huge, I think. But, whatever. It's exactly. So I'm not dogging them. I get what their motives are, and they're doing awesome if they're at it from a business standpoint. Fuck, because people are watching it. They're stretching out these seasons that don't need to be stretched out this far with these plot lines, and they're making the money. So,
what's the reception of Fear the Walking Dead? I mean, you said a few weeks ago it's not very big, but
no, we already kind of talked about it. People were hyped about it because they love this show.
Is it still going on?
What night does it even air?
It's still going on.
It's over. It airs in between The Walking Dead. So as soon as that ended, this show premiered, and I'm pretty sure as soon as this half season ends, their second half season is going to begin. So basically, we've got Walking Dead all year long.
Did they add another season to it?
But it wasn't airing on Sunday nights, though, was it?
I do believe it was.
What?
I believe it was airing Sunday nights.
I don't remember that.
That would be absurdity to confuse people like that. I thought it was like on a Tuesday or something like that.
Okay, I can't quote on it. I don't know, but I just know that it is kind of like flip-flopping. So basically, they have something The Walking Dead on at all times. And the thing is that show, the first episode was awesome. It was a record breaker type of deal, but it declined in the episodes. It kept declining pretty hardcore for each episode because
I think
people just weren't invested. people don't want to invest in new characters. We've been they're so invested in these characters for 6 years on this other show. Nobody wants to see all these brand new. We're not prepared for it right now. Nobody wants to do it.
We're at the point in the zombie kind of fad where it's kind of on the downswing of the bell here. And
it's going to go the way of the Western. We got a couple more seasons. They're going to drag it out of The Walking Dead. It's going to have at least 8 seasons. Mm-hmm. At least 8 seasons. And honestly, we had. The ratings are still really strong on this season, but they're not matching the numbers of last season. They are, for the first time in the show history. I mean, they're kind of in the ballpark, but for the first time ever, they are down. They're not climbing. So that could be the first little sign. I mean, it's still definitely a giant hit, the biggest cable hit there is, but it could be a sign of, bam, next season's going to be a little bit lower. Because, like, even their bad right now is still better than anything else. So that just tells you they're going to milk it out for a few more seasons until it really hits that number to where it's not worth the salaries that people like Norman Reedus and Andrew Lincoln are commanding for this damn show, and they're going to call it quits.
We should do an X-Files show, even though it's only 6 episodes.
Fuck, man. It's X-Files. I'll call it. Did you guys watch Evil Dead? I know we're going to talk.
No, I haven't. I really want to see it.
I caught the tail end of it, but not all of it.
I watched it before doing this podcast here, and it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
I'll watch it tonight.
I want to say I could have swore they said it was going to be 30 minutes. I don't know if it's just because it's the premiere, but without commercials because it's Showtime. Because it was 47 minutes with no commercials. Nice. So if that's the case, that equates to an hour-long program on cable. So,
well, and I think they might do kind of what HBO and some of those other channels do, where it gives you an extra 15 minutes or something like that to kind of give you almost like an extra episode or 2 per season.
But it was a lot of fun. The balance was actually surprisingly good. It was very hokey, very funny, but there was some cool scare moments that were not found in, like, Army of Darkness. There's nothing scary about that movie, right? This is very much it's in a way sillier than Army of Darkness, but a little scarier. I mean, on some of the shots they do, and the Deadites look cool. There is some CGI in there, but it's to be expected. If Army of Darkness was made today, there would have been because stop motion claymation was just that decade's version of CGI.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun. It starts off with a bang, man. Fucking, I saw that whole thing with him banging that one chick.
Yeah, he turns into a demon. Yeah.
It's absolutely, and he still finishes.
Oh, he does.
It's so ridiculous. So like, there's always shows out right now that I want to watch, and I'm going to keep watching. But I still think like something like that. Maybe we should just do like a season podcast, like when it rounds up, and just kind of take it from there. I don't know, but
let's do the X-Files. Only 6 episodes.
But whatever. We're carrying on right here again. So
you can tell how interested Aaron is.
No, I do love the X-Files.
I'll do those. You do this one.
There's a million shows out there I'd rather talk about at this point, and I love Daredevil too. I know that's not like kind of like sci-fi related, but that show's fucking great on Netflix. But there's
you, brother.
Shows. But
I'll talk about Narcos. That show's awesome.
I don't know what
Netflix.
That is.
That's a show on Netflix. It's awesome.
Have you guys seen The Strain?
I hear.
No, I've heard from people who are like freaks about the book that it's really good, but like even then, still, I heard from other people who are freaks about the book, like, it's pretty stupid, but I don't know.
Yeah, I hear middle of the road stuff, but
anything with Guillermo del Toro's involved anymore, I'm kind of just like, ugh. After Pan's Labyrinth, ugh, no, thank you.
Oh, you don't like Pan's Labyrinth?
No, Jesus, that movie's so goddamn boring.
Really? To me, that's one of the only things that I like from him.
Ugh, boring.
Wow. No, I like Pan's Labyrinth a lot, but other than that, I don't. Look at us talking about all this other shit like we've been doing the last few weeks. That's when a show is starting to lose our interest. Every episode, I think we've ended the Walking Dead podcast talking about Evil Dead for crying.
I hate this fucking show.
Hey. See, right now, it's funny because River, before this podcast, he's like, I hope you're not swaying your ratings just to please people that are hating you online. And I'm like, no, not at all. I'm always honest. But it's so funny because God knows you. That's what you do. You fucking say things like that to get a rise out of people.
Yeah, and they're going to come back and listen to it. Still.
So I'm just saying, pick a side. Jeez.
They already know my side.
All right, we're done with this podcast. Check us out on btmreview.com, the Facebook, the Twitters, the YouTubes, and iTunes. Leave us more feedback. We love it. We'll address it and talk about it. It makes my day, hate and all. So, but until next week, upward and onward. I'm Aaron.
Riverman.
Pat.
Adios.
Good night, Canada.